Oh, hello. Today we are doing a quick video that honestly I'm pretty much making for myself because in my gamification brain, the loop of gamification satisfaction is not complete until I officially lock in the game I'm playing. And in this context, you guys are basically going to serve as my accountability partners because I have been reflecting the last couple of days running up to the new year about do I want to make any resolutions? I've been planning my kind of knitting, reading, writing plans for the year, making some plans with my career stuff. I don't know, just general reflection, pretty typical end of the year stuff. And one theme that I kept circling back to was consuming less, underconsumption, core, low buy, whatever we the internet are now calling that kind of genre of challenge. That I've realized is something that I want to be doing in a few different kind of areas of my life. So I thought I would just come on here and officially, for myself, document what the game plan is. So this is a book channel. Let's start with books. I am currently on a read down plan for my TBR that I anticipate continuing in the next year. I hope to get most of the way through that in the coming year. I read roughly 160-ish books last year, and I think as of this filming, I have 138 books to get to my goal, which is 100 books on my physical TBR. So that is doable, and I do plan on really focusing on that. So yeah, I might not get quite there. I might not get all the way there, but I think I should get pretty close. So that's a part of my low buy is I don't need to be buying things because I'm going to be focusing on reading what I got. We got books at home, reading them at home. If I am reading things that are not on my TBR, I plan for that to be mostly from the library or subscription, something like that. The only exceptions, and the reason I'm calling it a low buy and not a no buy, is I do still plan to pre-order things that are in series or from authors that I know that I like and that I want to support with a pre-order. I do that right now through bookshop.org. I think though I also want to focus on trying to get the ones that I can from my local bookstore that's just a few minutes from me. I think that will also incentivize me to be very selective about what I pre-order because I will also then have to arrange to go pick it up physically rather than it just arriving. So I'll do some pre-orders still. I will do, if I read a book and really like it and want to have it to reference, I will buy that. So, essentially buying books I know that I like and want in my library and my collection. And then I'm working on a couple of writing projects right now. So if I have books that I need to mark up and therefore can't do that from the library, then I will buy those. So those are my main exceptions. I guess an exception also is that if I ever am at an independent bookstore, I always buy a book. So I don't know. It's against my religion to not buy a book unless I just absolutely can't. So yeah, those are my bookish parameters for a low buy. Let's see here. What are the other categories I was thinking of? Oh, makeup. So I've been getting into some beauty content after taking a break for the last few years, just because it was so, I don't know. I just had a lot of other stuff going on between the pandemic and my autoimmune disease and all that. I just wasn't really focused on staying up with the latest. And also I think I just found products that really worked well for me, but I've been getting served some of that content, or I should say I've been getting served some content from those creators again. A lot of them have transitioned into commentary or anti-consumerism stuff, or I don't know. They're making new and interesting forms of content. One of those was a series from Kelly Gooch, who I hadn't watched in a hot minute, and she was going through every year of the last decade and talking about the hot releases of that year, the scandals, the trends, all of that stuff. And it made me realize I had a bunch of cream products that I had had since 2015 that needed to get thrown away because even if technically they still worked, should I be putting a cream eyeshadow on my eyes that was opened in 2015? Absolutely not. I was just asking for an infection if I was going to do that. So I went through and cleaned out a lot of my stash, but it also made me realize that I just have a lot of powder products that I do think are still okay to use, but I haven't focused on using them. So I definitely sometimes fall prey to shiny object syndrome if I'm in, Ulta picking up a replacement for my foundation and I see a pretty blush. Sometimes I pick it up. I think this year I'm going to say no to color products that are not like things that you have to replace regularly. Sorry, my cat is sniffing a cord and I'm monitoring to make sure he does not chew it. I'm talking, I can replace mascara and concealer and stuff that I go through pretty regularly. I will keep doing that. But, I definitely don't want to be replacing any powder products I have that I haven't gone through. So no new blushes, eyeshadow, powder eyeshadow stuff, like none of that. And then I go through lip stuff pretty regularly because most of my lip stuff nowadays is gloss, and I just keep the latest ones in my office and, around the house in my purse and stuff. I get through them, but I do have a little bit of a stockpile of those. So until I work my way through that, no more of those. I'm a sucker for, if there's a buy one, get one free kind of thing on a lip gloss that I like, I'll just stock up, but I don't really need to do that. I've got a stockpile right now. So if I get to the end of the year and next holiday sales have some good deals, then maybe I'll, build a little stockpile back up, but I'm good for right now. I'm also going to prioritize some things that haven't gone bad, but I found when I was, cleaning things out, and they will go bad in the next year or so. So I want to prioritize getting through that. So really just focusing on only replacing the stuff that I get through and not buying new stuff when it comes to kind of beauty makeup stuff. I will say for skincare, I do reserve the right, because of my autoimmune disease, I have a rotating set of issues depending on what the current medicine cocktail I've got going on is. So if I have some kind of skin concern I need to address in terms of dryness or rashes or acne or whatever, I reserve the right to get a new tool if I need to in my skincare routine to address that. But otherwise, trying to focus on using up what I got, because I got enough, I think, to get me through the year. So yeah, okay, so that's books, beauty / skincare, hobbies. So I do want to focus, and I'll talk more about this in my knitting plans for 2026. I'll talk more about book stuff too in my book plans for 2026. But for knitting stuff, I am a sucker for a sale. Okay, we were talking about beauty stockpiling for end of the year sales. I'm a sucker for a sale. And becoming an avid knitter has it's given me a new outlet to indulge the sale hunting side of me. And I would say the last 2 years, I definitely have taken advantage of some really great sales for end of the year holiday stuff, anniversary, whatever. And I have a nice little stockpile of yarn. I have a lot of sweaters quantities worth, enough, I believe, to get me through the full year. And I just don't need any more yarn right now. So I'm putting myself on a no buy for yarn. The only exception I will make is if I need more yarn to finish a project, because it's silly to not just do that. And then if I am traveling and am in a yarn shop, a nice souvenir I feel like when I'm traveling is to get a skein of hand dyed from wherever I'm traveling to. So I will indulge that. But I'm going to say no buy through the next round of holiday sales. So that would be like roughly mid-November. And then if there are, at that point, I'll have a much better sense of what all I have in my stash and what I might want to stock up on. I also feel like because I've been stocking up on yarn so much, because I love knitting. I find it so relaxing, so good for my anxiety, just fun. I think it also is promoting a sense of appreciation and love for clothing that I own because I had to spend so much time making it. You know, I love it as a hobby, but because I love it so much, and I've stocked up so much, I think it's keeping me from indulging in other hobbies that I've been wanting to spend time with. So I've not really done much sewing at all in the last year and a half, and I would like to do some more of that. Some of that is because I've been changing, you know, I was mentioning my ever-changing cocktail of medicines for my autoimmune disease, which I'm very thankful for. I'm glad that my doctors are so proactive and they're always trying to eliminate side effects, or, you know, if my blood work starts to go in a certain direction, they want, you know, they're on it. I appreciate that, but it has meant that I've had a lot of skin fluctuation. I've also had a lot of weight fluctuation. So it's been not as incentivizing to me to sew, just because I have had so much variation. And whereas knitting, I think, is a lot more forgiving of that, sewing is a little bit less so, at least with the fabrics that I like to use. But I would like to, I think the current cocktail is pretty great, guys. My numbers are looking good. I feel like this might be the one. I think I will know by the end of the year if it is the right cocktail, or at least if I'm pretty stable on it, and therefore I'll feel more confident going ahead and sewing some more stuff. And along with that, I also have some embroidery projects I want to do. Some of, like, I want to learn how to embroider. Some of them are homeware kind of things, but also some of them are on things that I want to sew. Therefore, I think all that to say, I think by really focusing on getting my yarn down and feeling less pressure of like, I have all this yarn, I need to use it, I will feel less of that, and I will also be in a better place to then expand in 2027 out into a little bit broader on my hobbies in terms of like crafting. So I don't know if any of that made sense. Okay, so that is the hobby side of things. I guess the last one is just like homewares. I feel like I have been really good the last few years of really not just like buying random shit. I feel like consumption to numb late stage capitalist malaise, I feel like I've done a lot better with that in terms of just like gizmos and like random incidental things. But I feel like in the last couple of months, I've felt myself slipping back on that because I had some things that I needed to get to either replace, or I had a new thing that I needed something for. And I think I've kind of loosened up, and I've noticed myself buying more stuff just generally. And I want to get my ground back there. So in terms of just sort of general life home stuff, I'm not buying new stuff unless I'm replacing something I've already used up. And if I'm replacing something that's already been used up, I am going to focus on trying to find something that is reusable. So for example, I don't know why I never thought to look at this before, but the other day I saw somebody on TikTok using a reusable Swiffer duster thing. I currently have Swiffer duster replacements, so I'm not just going to go buy that right now because I have what I need for the moment. But when I get through that, I will buy a reusable version. And again, of course there's a reusable version. I don't know why I didn't think about that. But anyway, yeah, so I want to focus on using up what I have. If I do genuinely feel like I need something to either replace it or get something new, I want to focus on getting a reusable version so that I'm not having to buy stuff more frequently. So yeah. And I think in general, like I've felt this burden in general the last few years, but I'm specifically feeling it here recently, which is like literally everything that I own is a burden in some way. So like this couch, if and when I don't need it anymore, something will have to be done with it. And do I have an exit plan for it? I really want to focus on only bringing in things that I'm confident I know what their exit plan is. You know, books, I think honestly part of why I've always felt a little more free to get them is because I do know what to do with those. There's a little free library, there's donations to library sales, there's selling it to the used bookstore. Like there's things you can do with books, but there's a lot of these sort of just like random ephemera of daily life that like there is no real good disposal solution for that's like easy. And I think I've been feeling that more. So one way, you know, it's funny how the reduce is the first thing in the reduce reuse recycle. Really focusing on trying to reduce And then where I can't, trying to find things that are reusable. So I think that will be good as well. And yeah, I think I got rid of my Prime membership this year, so that reduces the temptation to sort of just like impulse buy there. I'm really just going to focus on if I need ephemera. I have, through my work, we get, like, people can thank you by giving you points and you can trade those in for gift cards. So I'm just going to focus on when I do need things or want things, if I can't get it with those gift cards, then like waiting until I can. Yeah, and just generally trying to buy less, trying to have less, trying to spend less. Another thing I've got on my mind, and I know a lot of Americans are facing this, is that my company is forcing us to change health insurance this year. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I always have to spend a lot on my health insurance stuff because of my autoimmune disease. And I just honestly don't know if I've done the math right in terms of what is and isn't going to get covered. I think I've done my research on the doctors that I need and if they're going to be in network still, but I could be wrong or things could change. It's honestly, yeah, I'm in a very privileged position for an American because I do have relatively good insurance that covers usually most stuff, but that could change at any minute. So yeah, also trying to just like not spend as much, because if my healthcare costs are the same, then my budget is fine. But if my healthcare costs are about to go up more than what I thought they were, that could be a problem. So, being in a position where I've already not been spending as much money, if I do end up needing to spend more money on that, probably isn't the worst thing either. So that was a ramble. I don't know if anybody's interested in this, but I needed to post it just so that I can know that I've told multiple people that this is the plan for the year and can therefore feel guilt if and when I want to break it. More so, it just helps. I'm very good. Like, gamification really works on me. And yeah, my game is now set. And so I will want to win it. And I'm in it to win it. So let me know. I feel like a lot of people are, honestly, just because of the state of the economy and the world, a lot of people are doing these kinds of challenges in 2026. So let me know if you got anything like this going on. Yeah, I also, I find that once you start cutting stuff out, you don't really miss it. Like, I stopped going to Target. I don't really miss it anymore. Stopped going to Starbucks when they started union busting, and I don't really miss it. I go to local coffee shops or I make coffee at home. Like, I actually find a lot of these things that feel so essential end up when you stop not being as essential. So I'm hoping that this is going to be an easier game to win than maybe I think it is. But I don't know. We'll find out together. We'll check in at the beginning of next year and see if I was successful or not. Let me know your thoughts. Happy New Year, because I think this is probably going to go up on New Year's Day. And yeah, I'll be back with some bookish stuff in a couple days, I think. I think the next thing should be my December wrap up. So yeah, hit the bell if you want to, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And otherwise, just take care of yourself. And I hope you start your 2026 off as best you can. And we'll just talk soon.